Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at another rank 1 in the world team. At least at the current time, this is the current rank 1 in the world team from Mami. For sure, I have to say, spoiler alert, one of the best teams that I played so far. Like, for this Great League season, I would really recommend you to try this team out. It was absolutely wild in how strong this team is. And also, most of the Pokemon, like, quite easily accessible. Like, I guess, Shadow variant of the Empoleon is a little bit of an important one there as well. If you don't have the Shadow variant, I guess the normal variant would work out as well. But I like the Shadow variant quite a bit more. Just because of the fast move pressure that they have, especially against Pokemon like Shadow Gligar or something like this. It is going to be quite nice. Otherwise, backline, say swap of Goodra, going to be able to get out most of those Steel-type Pokemon. Kind of a little bit of an awkward thing for this team is that Registeel kind of got a little bit more of a comeback now. But anything else, basically, this team completely destroys. Like, this team was so lovely. Like, I'm not gonna kidding with you here as well. Like, this team was insanely strong. Would really recommend you to try it out. I would do more battles as well if I wouldn't do content on YouTube. But, like, this team was amazing. Anyway. There are also going to be some of the more difficult matchups here. Lantern in the lead is not going to be as ideal. Of course, going to be hard-walling your lead. And as Goodra is the only really hard answer to this Pokemon, I rather decide to swap out here into my Wigglytuff and see what I can do against this Lantern here. They decided to go for another Surf, which is totally fine for us. As you can see already, we got them quite low. And getting them this low can actually help us out quite a bit for late game as well. Because it's going to allow us to put them basically into Hydro Cannon range if I need to, which is kind of cool as well. We should be able to survive this body sim still thanks to the debuff of Icy Wind from the Wigglytuff here. We have another Icy Wind stored for later on. Now we can try to go for the full farm down with our Empoleon, trying to get as much energy as possible. And yes, it's going to be a little bit lucky here that the game is just going to work in our favor. Again, there might be a video soon where I'm going to talk a little bit about the game state if there's not like any kind of official update towards it. But yeah, kind of sad like to see it here. The opponent came back from it again. It was just lag apparently, but like this happens on my side as well. Like I lost a few games recently as well, and in kind of similar fashion like this we're going to be able to win, but I think we would have been fine no matter what. Next opponent, horrible lead for us. We're going to swap out straight away into our Goodra. We have two good answers though against that Feraligatr, and as I decided to go for the Hydro Cannon here, I rather let the move go through. It's going to be resisted damage, but in the back they're going to have their own Goodra, and this is like a very clever play by the opponent. I decided to go for the Thunder Punch. It doesn't matter what kind of move you're going to go for. Both of them do the exact same amount of damage. One takes a little bit more energy, which is the Thunder Punch, but as I can only get to one move anyway, it doesn't really matter. You might think, oh, why did I decide to go ahead and go into my Empoleon instead of my actual answer for the opponent's Pokemon? It's mainly because I was thinking that there might be a Pokemon in the back that's also going to be weak against that Wigglytuff, but in general that was kind of a dumb thing to think at this current time because they have that Feraligatr already, which is weak to Wigglytuff, and they already had the Goodra, which is weak to Wigglytuff, and so if I played it a little bit differently, I maybe actually had a better chance of winning this one. So, yeah, definitely not ideally played from me. Speaking of not ideally played, maybe I should have not stayed in this matchup as well as long, but I kind of want to weaken up that Vigoroth so I can guarantee alignment here with my Goodra. We got some damage onto them, we got a shield from them as well, and I think that's going to be a kind of good sign for us. We're definitely going to have to use another shield though against the opponent in order to keep alignment, which we kind of want to have, as they're going to have, of course, that, Dragonite lurking there in the back, and Dragonite is not going to enjoy the matchup against our Wigglytuff, and so I'm going to be in a very solid spot here. Goodra going to be able to get the Awkward Tail off, get the knockout, and in comes the Dragonite where we cannot go for another charge move, but we can align ourselves. And sadly, they're going to have in the back that Lantern, and I'm like, have I still a chance of winning this battle here? I kinda doubt it, to be fair, but let's find out if we maybe still do something here. Oh, look at this, the opponent decides to let the Swift go through, which is actually quite nice for us. We call the Surf Bait here as well, which is going to be quite nice for us. And now we can use a shield onto the next Surf, and I think they're going to be in the farm down range now. And this is exactly what's going to happen now. We can go for the full farm down here. We can get at least 3 charms in against the Dragonite, and they can go for a Dragon Claw now, most likely to try to knock me out, which is not even going to work out for them, as we can go for that Icy Wind and win this battle. Good game there. Wigglytuff was so strong in the back. Next opponent, I know that this is going to start off quite bad. We're going to have a horrible lead. We're going to swap out straight away into the Goodra. We have some lag here as well, as they're going to go straight for that Night Slash, trying to weaken me up a little bit, which is totally fine. Look at our Goodra just wiggling around. They're going to have these Skarmory swapping into us. And I was thinking like, oh, 2 Thunder Punches might be enough to knock them out, so we're gonna go for the first one here, doing around half of the opponent's health, which I was like, yeah, that's going to be great. I can go for another one that's gonna either force a shield or the knockout. And it did neither. We didn't get the knockout, we didn't get the shield, and the opponent gonna get a shield from me now because, while yes, we're going to be able to resist the Brave Bird, it is still gonna chunk quite a bit. And so, as the opponent stayed in for a little bit in the lead though, I might be fine going to my Wigglytuff and getting some damage onto that opponent's Annihilate, which works out quite well for us. We're gonna put them down to range for 1 Steel Wing, and they're going to have in the back the Water Gun variant of Lantern. I'm forced to go for the Icy Wind here. Icy Wind is going to allow us now to survive a little bit longer with our Wigglytuff, and my win con here actually is to win with my Empoleon and let the move go through here, because Empoleon resists the water gun damage from the opponent, but also we still, with a lag here as well of course, do some nice resisted damage though with Steel Wing and Hydro Cannon, but both of the moves are very strong in terms of the power output, and as you can see here, we're gonna put them already into range where I can fully farm them down, and I just have to hope that they cannot get to a Thunderbolt in time. They decide to swap out now as well into their Annihilate. It did not work out for them, and we can go for the full farm down and win the battle. Next opponent, and again, a very horrible lead, and like what you can see as well, like we did not get lucky. Like we did not get lucky with the leads at all, we did not get lucky with the matchups, but we still came on top of it, and this is like a great quality of this team, that it's like very safe to play, very consistent to play as well, I would imagine, and so I would really recommend you to give it a try. Here the opponent's double weak already to Wigglytuff, which kind of means they're going to have some answer to Wigglytuff in the back, I would imagine. And so we're gonna be a little bit in a difficult spot here. We are forced to go into the Empoleon because Empoleon is our only real answer here right now for that Lickitung if we want to keep our Wigglytuff for the Annihilate. And now we have to hope there's something in the back that we can 2-shield farm through basically with our own Wigglytuff. They're going to be still staying in here for a little bit, and it's going to be an Azumarill, and that's actually a matchup that can be winnable. And so I can go for a Swift, see what they're gonna do, hope that they don't use a shield, but they decide to use a shield, which is, it's okay, it's definitely okay. We can go ahead and go for another shield here against the opponent's charge move. It's going to be that Ice Beam coming through. We are gonna try to go ahead and go for another Swift, and mainly also to just try to wiggle down the clock there a little bit, trying to get that shield from the opponent, and now hopefully can swap out after this charge move into my Empoleon. If they run Night Slash plus Shadow Ball, the energy is not going to matter at all, and they swap out actually into the Annihilate. They can go for another charge move here. It's still going to be a little bit of a tough battle to come back from, but let's see how this is gonna go. We can still go for another charge move. The Drill Peck is gonna get the knockout against the Annihilate, which I feel like is the right call to do as well here. And against the Azumarill, they're forced to go straight for a charge move apparently. They would have not been able to farm me all the way down. They can still get one more fast move in, but look at this, 2 charms. Bye opponent, a good game there, Wigglytuff too strong. Next opponent coming through, Wigglytuff in the lead, going to be great for us. Let's see what the opponent gonna do here. They decided to swap out into the Ferrothorn, and this game really annoyed me. Like, this game was so annoying for me, because I wanted to swap out eventually into my Goodra after I get some damage onto them, but what you don't see all the time here, because it's a sped up gameplay, like, basically every single time I went for a charge move afterwards, I had like some crazy lag, which did not allow me to swap out, or like basically sped up everything. Let's see if this is gonna be a little bit more visible now as well. Yeah, look at this, like, look at this, you can even see it in the recording, and it's like 1.8 times the speed. Like, it's like crazy lag there, which is really annoying, because now I'm in a shield disadvantage, and I needed to keep the alignment, and I kinda really want to get rid of my Goodra in this scenario, and it was just so annoying for me, because now I'm forced to swap into the Wigglytuff to not have a horrible matchup later on, and it's completely changing the entire game plan here for me, because otherwise you would have went into the into the Goodra after the opponent used a shield and I used a shield, and I would have been totally fine, because I would have had alignment with my Wigglytuff against the opponent's Annihilate and my Steel-type Pokemon against the opponent's Wigglytuff, and everything would have been great. But like this, the opponent is now in a spot where they can guarantee a win, because they have a ton of energy already. We have even more lag coming through here, and like the game state is just so annoying, as they can go for the Shadow Ball, they do a ton of damage, they make a crucial mistake here. I have no idea why they did this, but they let the move go through here, allowing us to go for the full farm down and win the battle. Thanks to them, I guess, but like honestly, like the lag is kinda crazy. Moving on to the next opponent, we're going to have the Bastion in the lead, and they swap out into the Disappear, and I was like, there was no way that this is going to be that frenzy plan unless they saw again some lag. There was some lag as well happening as well, but it wasn't like as clear as the one before, so I was like a little bit worried for a little bit. But we can go ahead and go for a charge move here, get the Drill Peck off, get the shield, and at this point we can swap out into the Goodra. And basically what I try to do here is, I try to get the shield from the opponent, I try to get them a little bit lower so I can go for the full Dragon Breath down, and I just try to get a ton of energy here now, because Here's the thing with Goodra. The energy is like pretty wasted against grass type Pokemon. Here I just decided to go for it because they overfarmed for so much. I just want to get rid of their energy before they can use it against me, which worked out super well. But here against the Bastion, we can go for the super effective Awkward Tails, doing around like 25% damage with each of them, which is kind of nice. And this is going to chip them away a little bit better for our Empoleon as well later on. So we're going to be in a very decent spot. We have a shield advantage, we have switch advantage, we have a ton of damage onto the Bastion already. And they only have like basically one Pokemon left with one shield, as we have a Wigglytuff with 2 shields. And you know, even against something like a Registeel even, like you can wiggle them down with each charm, which is quite mad. But there you have in the back a victory bell, and I was a little bit scared here, especially with all the lag that is happening, that I am not going to be able to go for a charge move here in time. And we see even like the Wigglytuff standing around a little bit, like you see it takes longer than usual because the game is still in a broken state. And even the game is, well, even while the game is in a broken state here, we are still able to do so much against the opponent, knock them out here with that Swift and win the battle with our Wigglytuff against that Bastion. Honestly, like Wigglytuff against Bastion is like kind of the most toxic matchup that you can have here. We want to see the opponent swapping out straight away for whatever reason they do that, as they have a very neutral lead. Like, it's not a great lead, you're always going to lose this kind of, I think, as a Gligar. But like this, we can just go for the full farm down. They can go for a Scald, doesn't knock me out. I can go up to an Icy Wind. If they go back into their Gligar, it's fine. If they go into something else, like they're going to be locked into this one now. Oh look, Magnezone comes in. That's great. Look at this. We can go for the Icy Wind. They can knock me out. I can go straight into my Goodra, aligning myself. I can take a move. I can take any kind of move here. Even like the Wild Charge is going to be resisted. It's going to be debuffed. It still does quite a lot of damage. But this should just be the Mirror Shot, and so I can let the move go through. It's going to be a Gligar. We have a ton of energy. The game is over. The opponent knows this well, and we can just move on to the next opponent. Horrible lead. We can swap onto a Goodra, which is usually our safe swap unless we're going to encounter something that we really need our Goodra for as well. For example, like Lantern lead, which you saw before already. Here we're going to get them already quite low as they swap out with 2 Charge Moves stored, which is quite annoying for me. They're forced to still go for some Stone Edges against our Goodra though, so that's kind of nice. So we're not going to have a Bastion out of here with all the energy in the world. We can still always go for the Awkward Tail, still always get them a little bit lower, and still should be just fine for us to see what we can do here. Let's see what we can do. We can try to go for the Awkward Tail again, but they decide to go finally for their own charge move, allowing me to align my Bastion Destroyer here with the Empoleon basically. And we could try to go for the Hydrocan straight away, but I decided to let the move go through. Try to get some extra energy just for that one matchup here as well against the Swampert. And I'm very unlucky because what we see as well is that the Charm did not come through. And so they can go 2 charge moves off, which is... I think if I stayed in, actually I would have been able to knock them out in time, which is kind of sad. So, like, this was definitely a mistake by me. Should have stayed in with my Empoleon. Now they're going to go ahead and go into a Hypno, interestingly enough. And we're actually still in a very solid spot, but let's take a look at this. There's going to be some lag happening again, I think, as well. Swift coming through, going to, yeah, look, oh no, actually I got the move off, never mind, everything is okay. I just didn't get the animation for it, but you saw my energy increasing on the bottom, which is totally fine. I was thinking I didn't get the Steel Wing in there at all, but actually I got the energy in and just didn't show any move for me in, like, as an animation, which is kind of sad. But like this, I was thinking that they might want to catch the move, which they didn't, and so they win the battle. I could have won the battle if I just went straight for my charge move. But of course, it's always kind of the risk with it. Here, I tried to swap out. Look how long it took. Look how my Goodra is just bugging around. I don't get any fast moves through. Isn't it lovely? Game state is great. And still, like, even though the game is insanely laggy, we're still defeating everyone with this team, which kind of showcases again, like, what the hell is going on. Like, this team is, like, so insanely overpowered in the current meta. It is quite ridiculous that even the horrible game state right now doesn't really help them, because we're still going to be able to win those matchups. They have no chance of realigning. We're always going to be able to realign, as we can go for that Thunder Punch, knock them out. Let's move on. Let's see what they're going to go back into. They're going to go into our Lickitung, allowing us to also now swap into our Wigglytuff. Having a great matchup here. We have still some inconsistent fast move animation from both sides. Like, this has to change. Like, honestly, it has to change. Hopefully Niantic can listen to the community, but press X to doubt, I would say. As we will see, the Body Slam coming through. We are at 2 shields down now, which is not ideal as well. Don't know if this was the right call to go 2 shields down as well there, by the way. I don't think it was, but we're gonna get the shield back here at least. They're gonna get the attack drop. I guess maybe it works out quite well because I still keep in this matchup, and I guess they're going to have a fighter in the back if they are so worried about us. And yes, it's going to be the Annihilate, as we can go for the Icy Wind that's going to drop the opponent's attack. We're gonna be in a great spot now because even here, the opponent knows that this game is over and we can move on to the next opponent. Final one for today, quite a neutral lead. Oh, look at this, by the way. Oh, look at the leg. Oh, look at the leg. Look at the leg. There was 3 times frame drops back to back to back. And this forced, this basically allowed us to not get a free fast move in onto their charge move, which is quite crucial because now the pacing is completely different. And also the damage output is completely different. Can mean that the opponent would be able to just win that matchup in general, just because I didn't get the free fast move in because of all the frame drops that were happening. And so, like, for the people that are thinking, oh, look at him, he never really has frame drops. No, I do have them as well. It is quite ridiculous sometimes. But, yeah, let's take a look here at this one, though. We're going to see the drill pack coming through. Going to be able to at least get the Azumarill can alone. We can still actually get the knockout with them as well. Let's see how this is going to work out for us. We can get the knockout against the Azumarill. Let's see what's coming in next. Could be again that Sand Slash, and it is going to be actually the Annihilate. We didn't get the fast move in oh no, actually we did get the fast move in, even though it looks like a kind of laggy one. And I can just keep my my Charm user basically for the Annihilate, and I can also just Charm down the Sand Slash at this point as way too low anyway, and this is going to be a good game. Like, I don't have to tell you that this is going to be a win for us. And so yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Great team to use, like great team to use, even though the game is completely garbage right now in terms of how it kind of works and functions right now. I would still recommend you to try out this team if you have the Pokemon, and that is going to be it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.